Alright, today's video we're going to be installing solid subframe bushings onto my 240. As you can see, it's stock height right now, and that's because I moved back from Delaware to California. So doing that, I wanted to put the stock suspension back on so it doesn't scrape the bottom of the car on the trailer. And I got the coilovers and all the control arms in that box right there. And I figured, well, I'm gonna be over here anyways, and then the suspension, might as well take the subframe out, throw some new subframe bushings in there, because on the stock height, when I first got here, I went for a drive, I had a pothole, and all you just felt was just the whole wheel just bounce around. So it's gonna be good for drifting. But yeah, let me jack up the car and we'll start getting to it. First, I'm going to start off with taking off the shocks, or the top of the shocks from the coilovers. One of them for mine happens to be a 12, the other one is something else. I think that's because I lost one of the nuts when I put these stocks back on. But yours should be either 12 or 13. Mine just has a combination of both. Now with the nuts off, this shock just pretty much should fall down. So I'm gonna probably kick it a little bit, see if it unseats and it falls. Alright, now I just got it under the top head of this shock tower. Now I do the same thing on the other side. Alright, I got those two shocks off. That would prevent, like, because I'm going to take everything off as an assembly. So pretty much once I do the subframe bolts, everything was going to come down as a whole. I'm probably going to have to take this exhaust off now that I think of it. Yep. Alright. And this is why I am going to change these subframe bushings, because if you watch, right now the car is sitting on the body of the car. So the subframe is hanging by its own weight. But if you see me, and as I lift it, so you can see how the mount stays the same, but this subframe is just bouncing up and down on that shaft. Next, I'm going to be disassembling the rear part of the axle back for this exhaust. For my bolts, it happens to be a 17 mil bolt and a 15 mil nut. All right. There's one. And there's a second. And now I'm going to be taking off the wheel. I'm going to be taking off the caliper from the mounts, but I'm going to leave everything connected because I don't want to mess with bleeding brakes and stuff later. I'm not going to rebuild the caliper or anything like that, so we could just keep it all connected. Alright, two 13s. Alright, now as a full assembly, you go around this traction bar and sit it up top, so when I lower the subframe, it doesn't drag it down, it'll be sitting on top. So swing it back here, and I'll kind of awkwardly mess with the line, but it's fine for just a second. Go up and over. So now there's nothing above this caliper that's going to drag it down on the way, so we just got to make sure when we do lower it, it just doesn't happen to get snagged up by the shock. If you follow this cable, you see that there's a bracket over there that's held in by a 10mm bolt that attaches that cable, which is the e-brake cable, to the subframe. Alright, I hope you can see that bolt, because there's really no room to put a camera up in there. Alright, now that bracket is off. Alright, next we're going to remove the drive shaft from the differential. I got a pry bar in the middle of the yoke so I can take off these nuts. They're 14mm nuts. You don't have to hold anything on the bolt side because there's a flat on it, so it prevents the bolt from spinning. And there you go. The drive shaft is now out. Alright, now I'm going to take off these little small brackets. 12mm. And now with the tires on, back on the hubs, and a jack supporting the diff, which is supporting the whole subframe. Now we're going to take off the 4 17mm subframe nuts. Alright, now I got the front two out. Now we just have those back two. Now lowering it. The 3 things that I gotta watch are make sure it's not pulling the caliper down on either side, so both calipers, gotta keep an eye on them. And on the forward side, making sure that the subframe or the sway bar doesn't get caught on the exhaust, or at least so I can be able to flip it up. But yeah, let's lower it. Alright, I had to end up taking off that middle section of the exhaust because she was getting hung up on it. So let's go take 2. Alright, so it looks like we're gonna have to raise the car up more. So let's just do that so we can get clearance to roll this fucker out. Well, this sucks. I forgot to press record when I got the final pieces out. There she is. Subframe is out. And nothing is hanging on the car. Now I just gotta put it on stands. Had to lift it up quite a bit. And lifting it from right there, started picking up that side. I'm like, you know what, just keep going for it. There's no center point that I couldn't lift to evenly lift it up, so just did it like that. Gonna put the jack stand in right now. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and burn out these bushings. Alright, now I'm gonna cut a slit so I can start banging out this this sleeve. Here's the new ones, solid. They've been sitting in the freezer for a couple days since I bought them, to kind of get them to shrink a little bit, just to at least help out on installing them. I got like a, what does this say? It's like a 3-pound mallet. What I'm gonna do is kind of get it in on one side, on the side that's sticking out. Start hitting it. Catch a lip in there. And once you catch a lip, then you just slam it all in. Or not. Alright, and there it goes. It's fully seated. Flip it around, and you can see fully flush and bottomed out here. So we are good. We got 2 out of 4. I'm gonna go do the other ones off camera because it's pretty much the same thing. Cut a slit, slam out the sleeve, and then you put in the new bushing. Alright, I got all 4 in, sitting flush. And now you can see that these are the stock control arms on that side. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my coilovers and all my adjustable control arms and put them back on. Since I already have everything apart, it's a good time instead of having to do this with everything in the car. So I'll go ahead and put all these back together, and then I'll show you what it looks like before I put them in the car. And there you go. Got my coilovers, got my suspension arms, got the subframe bushings, all the pretty colors. I kind of want to throw my welded diff in, but I'm still going to be driving around town, so I'm going to probably wait till the drift event, which is in a month from today, and then I'll install the welded diff so I can just at least be somewhat comfortable, because I know this is going to make a big difference with the solid bushings. But yeah, I don't know if I want to make this my thumbnail or the one, my normal thumbnails, which is with the parts next to the car. But and now I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the car. Now you can see, just gotta bring all these subframe bolts in. I put the other ones temporarily just so I don't lose where it sits. So yeah, that's all we have to do now. Just bring these subframe bolts all the way down. And once you do that, put everything back together like before, and call it a day. But that's how you install these subframe bushings. And put everything back together and go for a drive. So y'all have a good one.